let's get into WandaVision. So, Mo, as we always do, let's jump into our general thoughts on the episode. Then we can dive into some specific plot points, things we want to talk about within the episode. But what were your kind of general thoughts of this episode of WandaVision?
So this was another great episode. Again, Joe and I have constantly been talking about how it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they're going to... I mean, I could see how, but at the same time, I don't. These episodes have just been so good. If there's one critique, it's literally the duration of the episode. They're just not long enough. And with this specific episode, as we'll get into the spoiler part, it just frustrated the heck out of Joe and I.
Yeah,
in a good way.
What was the length of this one? Like 30, if I remember right?
It was...
I mean, obviously the credits are like 5 or 7 or
38
something.
minutes, and if you take off, I think the specific is like 6.5 minutes actually.
Okay.
So it was 32. It was somewhere around 31 and a half, 32 minutes.
I don't understand why they do the credits that long, by the way. That I know that doesn't matter, but like it kind of bothers me. A 6.5 minute credit for a show that's only 30 minutes.
And listen, I was thinking the same thing, but I've been doing a little research. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to go through each episode at the very end in the credits, and I'm going to pay attention to those credits because they show items from that go into future episodes or that are from past episodes, and I think they're going to like pop back up sometime in the future, or they're going to be like Easter eggs for something in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. And I think I caught one of the first few episodes. I watched like the first half of the credits just because I was sitting there, and I noticed some of that stuff in the first few.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back and do that. But so going back to this episode, right from the jump, I mean, it's just very entertaining. You get the 90s kind of early 2000s vibe.
Yep.
And it was cool. If you haven't seen the last episode before this, quick spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1, go. Quicksilver is back. And it was cool to see Quicksilver along with the family, and it's very Malcolm in the Middle-ish vibes.
Yes,
for sure. And it's cool to see the twins like get their kind of POV and get to see the twins more. And you get the really cool thing is you, as you could see from the trailers for this episode, and as you watch the episode, that the way they like pay dues and pay respects to the original like comic book costumes or outfits that they wear. It's cool that they pay an homage to that. Definitely. How like Vision's wearing his OG Vision costume and cape and stuff like that, and Vision and Wanda's wearing her original, and even Wiccan and Speed, who are Tommy and Billy. It's cool to see that they're all wearing their OGs. So that was cool. They definitely pay respects there, and throughout the episode, it just builds tension. I told Joe, like, the whole episode, I was on the edge of my seat, and it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating in a good way because it was like it never was, nothing was being paid off throughout, and it was just like on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So it was very entertaining, and I'm just super excited for the next one that will be coming soon. So
definitely. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The Malcolm in the Middle vibes and like other, I kind of felt like it was something that was on like Nick at Night or something like that growing up. So I really enjoyed that aspect. And
George Lopez,
I thought they were like stuff like that. Yeah,
that was all that played. Freaking when I was like, I remember when I fell asleep,
Nick at Night,
living room. George Lopez always played Nick at Night.
Yes. No, there was a bunch of classic stuff on there, but anyway, I really enjoyed it. I appreciated a lot of those references and those acknowledgments, and I didn't know if this episode was going to be more of just the 90s. I felt like it was a lot of early 2000s stuff too. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with the sitcom stuff moving forward. We've kind of got some predictions on that we'll get into later. But anyway, so I appreciated the novelty of that. But, man, the episode itself, like the content of it, gets pretty crazy. I love they nailed the Halloween special kind of like aesthetic, and there's some stuff that happens that's a little creepy in there. couple moments, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It like you said, this show really has gotten better every episode, and it's difficult to top like what they've done thus far, but like I think they're going to continue to, just based off the track record and based off where it seems like this could be going. And this episode definitely progresses the story further. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And like you, I was very, very mad. Very mad at the end of the episode just because I'm like, I need to see this next one ASAP. But overall, episode 6 was fantastic. We got 3 more episodes and looking forward to it. So that's kind of our general thoughts on this week's episode of WandaVision. Now we will jump into some plot points that will include some spoilers. So you have been warned if you've not watched the episode yet, episode 6 of WandaVision. Go watch and come back. Click on the video now, or if you don't care, then you've been warned. Good for you. So anyway, let's jump into it. Mo, what's kind of the first big plot point you wanted to touch on with this episode?
So it starts out when they go through the intro to this new decade of WandaVision, this television series that's very similar to Malcolm in the Middle. Mm-hmm. If you listen to what they're saying in the intro, they're saying like you don't need to change and you don't need to escape. It's just again paying the homage to like how Wanda just doesn't want to leave this reality, mm-hmm. and how like everything's okay as they are, and you don't need to pay attention to the details. Like, mm-hmm. like, so that's cool how they continue to do that throughout. And you get to see Quicksilver be this crazy uncle in this, crazy uncle, the like kind of older brother, uh-huh. Who's kind of just all over the place and who's kind of like a bad influence on the kids. Yeah, and he acts. One thing that I was thinking, I saw a video of like they said that he kind of acts the same, and like as he does in the X-Men. I can kind of see that, but like I think he does a good job at playing the part in the like sitcom. I don't think he acts that similar to how he does. Mm-hmm. Like he acts pretty childish in the X-Men, but not that like. Yeah,
no, I think I'd agree with you.
There definitely is some in his accent. He doesn't have that accent in the X-Men. It's like he has like a New York accent or something. Like, I don't know how to describe the accent that he has in this WandaVision, but like he doesn't have like that accent in the X-Men mm-hmm. movies. But that's just a couple things I picked up on. But yeah, throughout like it just starts out kind of comical, and you notice that Wanda and Vision have been kind of fighting, and you get the mm-hmm. perspective from the boys that are saying that they're like, Mom and Dad have been
they were like sitting down. That was funny.
And Wanda doesn't want Vision to leave her obviously by her side because he's starting to pick up on things, and as you notice, she can't rewind time anymore. You as you noticed, so she's getting more worried, and Vision ends up getting out pretty much.
And as you predicted with this episode and with these past episodes, you predicted this really early on. You said time's going to start catching up to her, and things are going to start catching up to her when she thinks she's in control. And we're just starting to see that with numerous things, and that she just doesn't have as much control in what's going on as she may have thought or wished. Mm-hmm. So that's just interesting. Yeah.
And so Vision says he's going to go on patrol, which he's not just going on patrol. He is, but not at the same time. He's really just trying to figure out what the heck this is and trying to understand like where he's at. And mm-hmm. so you kind of take his perspective later throughout the episode. And while this is happening, Wanda and Quicksilver are catching up as brother and sister, and she's kind of asking him questions to kind of see if, like, is this really Quicksilver? Is this really, because he's not the original Quicksilver. He's mm-hmm. not the original Pietro from the Marvel cinematic universe. Right. He's from the Sony X-Men universe. Right.
No, the Fox.
Multiverse of Madness already. Yeah, he's from Fox.
Yeah. Sony Spider-Man. Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah. Not. Which now things are gonna obviously come into Disney, but they just haven't brought everything in yet. Yeah.
Things are changing, which going outside the bubble. Yeah. When we get to Monica Rambeau.
Yes.
So later down, I'm kind of skipping a little some little stuff that I know Joe might catch you up on, but this is a big plot point that I'm super excited for.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about how so I'll actually give some quick context to it. Hayward, the boss, is now turning into he is turning into something else.
Or not Sword of wait. Yeah, of Sword. Okay.
Sword,
sorry.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But he's kind of just turning into, the worst boss award, and he's not a good guy. You can kind of start seeing that as much as you go on through, and that he's taking over, and that there's a lot of secrets kind of buried in what's really behind this.
Yeah. He's getting fishy. He's getting very suspicious.
So Monica Rambeau, like Monica and why am I drawing a blank? And Jimmy Woo. What's her name again?
I always forget her name. I don't know, because I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of her character. That's why I don't know her name. She bothers. She just I don't know. Her humor is a little bit overused in my opinion. I guess that's one small complaint I have about the show, but it doesn't ruin the show for me.
But all three of them, they're starting to pick up on how he is just not a good guy, and they're now speaking out against him, and which is they're doing the right thing. They're trying to save Wanda, and they're trying to save everyone in there, but he just seems like he just wants to put a nuclear airstrike on this place, kill everyone that's inside of it.
He's just not even considering her humanity at all. He just thinks she's, just a threat, basically.
Yeah, and let alone there's millions of people or thousands of people in this that are trapped, and he just his approach is not good.
No.
So Monica and Monica and company, they speak out about it, and they Hayward kicks him out pretty much.
Yep.
And as they're getting kicked out, Monica and Jimmy Woo and the mystery girl, they start
girl. That's what we're gonna call her for now.
They just start throwing hands. They're the mystery girl didn't know what the plan was. And they're now in ghost mode, and they're going around trying to figure out things, and they start doing research on the computers, and they find out that the dude Hayward's been tracking Vision this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's very suspicious. And
he's up to something.
And it's called cardiac. I think cardiac.
That's his special mission, secret mission or whatever.
And cardiac, by the way, refers to eyesight, eyesight and stuff like that, meaning vision.
I didn't catch that. Okay.
Yeah. So while this is happening, they're doing the research, and all of a sudden, Monica and Jimmy, they're about to head out, and Monica's saying, I need to talk to some guy over the bridge or over this ridge or something like that. I'm the perfect guy for it. And you're just who is this?
Yes. So
who is this going to be?
That's a thread that's kind of dangling that we're going to find out more about the next episode.
And then Mystery Girl stays behind because she's trying to figure out something. And then as time's going on inside the bubble, Vision's walking through the town, and he's just noticing and picking up on more things. And
he's doing his patrol work.
He's doing his patrol. And as you can tell, as he goes further throughout the community, the less control Wanda has. Yep. So everyone's more at a standstill, and they're not doing anything because Wanda she doesn't have full control over everything.
And so, it gets crazy. There's the creepy scene of the lady dangling on the clothesline.
And I told Joe this in the Patreon podcast.
The Patreon, the podcast that no one's heard.
I told him that everyone who was a part of this did an awesome job at the mannequin challenge. They absolutely killed it. When the camera pointed to them, they were completely still, and I just want to give them a great A on that.
That was wonderful. That was a great.
And Vision's trying to talk to these people, but they're just they are mannequin. They don't speak. They're not speaking back.
They're just doing the mannequin challenge. I'm playing the song Blackbeard. All right. Anyway, I just had to do that one time.
So Vision then flies up to get an outside perspective, kind of, and he looks around, and he's hearing voices, and he can hear a ton of voices crowded in this one area. But then as he keeps going around, he notices that the voices fade, and he's like, and then he starts to notice that there's kind of like a force field or whatever kind of around this. So then he finally gets up to it, and he notices a car is at the stop sign, and he goes down in front of it, and it is Agnes, and she's in her car, and she's just stands still doing a good her mannequin challenge.
And it's that scene from the trailer.
Yes. And it's that scene from the trailer, and she's like, and Vision brings her back to life because he's like, what the heck? And then she's like, am I dead? And then he goes, why? No, you aren't. And she says, because you are. And you've heard that from the trailer as well. So like, he's trying, like Vision's trying his best to figure out everything, but he doesn't know what is going on.
No.
So he ends up then finally walking over to the edge, and he notices that force field, and he's starting to touch it, and he's trying to get out. And as he's trying to get out, he can tell like it's so hard. It's much more difficult for him to get out than it took Wanda to get out.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get out, and now Hayward and some officers have picked up on it, and they're coming out to go check on it. And
so they send the military over or whatever as he's walking out, like ready to shoot him or whatever, and his body just starts peeling back, and I mean, just like Infinity or at the end of Infinity War, right. When the snap happens, it almost looked like
Wanda had her own snap,
right? Exactly, but that just shows like the power of this kind of force field that she's created around Westview, and it just is destroying him. So as he's trying to get out, then the huge moment of the episode happens, and Wanda. Well, was it Wicket? Yeah, it was Wigan of the kids who, because he's starting to pick up on his superhero. He's got
Wanda's powers.
Yeah. He could hear his dad from afar, Vision, and he's like, "Mom, Dad needs help." Da da da. And so she kind of goes into a zone and was able to hear him, and all of a sudden she just pushes the force field, and next thing you know, it gets wild. And by the way, Vision has kind of fallen at this point. There's no way he's dead, but it kind of looks like he definitely was severely injured. But obviously, we know that he's not dead. But so anyway, she expands the force field, and our mystery girl was still handcuffed to the Jeep because they found her, and so we don't know what's gonna happen.
Is it Marcy?
With her.
It's something like that. It's
something with the M, I think. All right, you can check while I'm saying. But anyway, so as the force field is going out, all of the sword people and whoever else, like they're turning into like circus characters and just like random stuff. They're becoming a part of this reality, and we don't see exactly how far this expands, but it is going far. Like, so Westview is becoming a huge chunk of some type of area of the world, and we don't really know how far exactly she expanded it, so how many people got sucked into that. But all the sword people, pretty much all the sword people, luckily Monica and Jimmy were able to get off in their Jeep and get away. So I think, obviously they're going to find out whoever that person is, that character, which that's like the one plot point that I gotta know. That was one of the things that made me mad. I gotta know that, and then just the way that after this happens and Wanda shows her power and expands the hex is what they're calling it now. Yeah. The hex basically, it's just crazy. And if I remember right, this is kind of where the episode ends, or what happens at the end of this?
Yeah, I just wanted to say. Her name is Darcy.
Okay, Darcy's the character. Okay.
And another thing I wanted to say real quick is before she goes in panic mode, you can tell that throughout each episode she's getting more comfortable at just sharing her powers in broad daylight in front of the public.
Yeah, Wanda is. Yeah.
And by the way, there was one scene that Evan Peters Quicksilver he knew what she was up to. And he kept on saying, and it was funny. It was kind of funny that he knew everything that was going on. He was like, no, I understand what you're saying. He's like, you're having this and that. You got to have the family over for entertainment.
Yeah,
this and that. And then he was like, and yeah, it's the typical Halloween special and like the special cameo or something like that. And he was just literally exploiting her plans pretty much. And it was it was really cool to see. And then she had one look back, and when she looked back at him, he was again like he had the bullet holes, and it's kind of what he looked like when he was dead in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And she freaked out again, and then once she heard about Vision,
yes.
Evan Peters Quicksilver was like, he said, it's not like you dead twice or whatever, and then she got real ticked off.
What did he say? You cut out for a second there.
It's not like your dead husband can die twice.
Oh yeah. That was.
So she got so mad and pushed him away, and then the very ending was when the force field pushed away, and then it just it pans into her eyes, and she finally opens them,
and
pretty much,
and then it cuts, right?
In the hex force field or whatever, and then that was it.
Yeah,
and it just that ticked me off. I was like, that's how it ends. I was like,
I gotta know now what happens.
But that was a great episode for sure. And again, it's good that we're recording this, I guess, now because we're, a few more days ahead. So we don't have too many more days to wait. But
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know me, Darvani. Shout out to Darvani. Darvani and I, we stay up till 3 a.m. on Friday.
Yeah, them boys are dedicated. Yeah.
Yeah, we are dedicated.
Yeah, 3 a.m. on the East Coast, which they got to do something about that time for future shows. I know that this series only has 3 more episodes, so they won't do anything. But, like, honestly, starting with this, because I don't think they've set a time yet for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, but they gotta get a time that works for, like, West Coast and East Coast, honestly. Like, even if it was, like, 9 p.m., on a Friday or a Thursday night here and 6 p.m. on the West Coast or something like that, where everyone most of the U.S. and most of North America, which is a big part of the audience for these Marvel shows, are able to watch them at the same time. But anyway, that's kind of our thoughts on the episode. Any predictions you want to briefly say?
Prediction-wise?
For next episode specifically.
Yeah. I've heard predictions that the person they might be meeting across the bridge or whatever could either be and this is a far reach, but I've actually heard multiple things surrounding it. This could be their intro with not with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. This could be Mr. Fantastic.
I don't think so.
I don't think it will either, but that would be pretty darn cool if it was. Picture it being John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, because he's always wanted to play Mr. Fantastic. That would be okay. Yeah. That would be absolutely crazy. It won't happen.
Wait, but like, have they? Why do I feel like they announced him as Mr. Fantastic?
I don't know. I thought they've been very quiet about what the casting is, because it would be him and then Emily Blunt as an Invisible Girl.
That'd be crazy. Husband and wife as in real life playing. Yeah, that'd be crazy. But all right.
Yeah, either that or I don't know. I don't know. I'm really just, it's up in the air who that is going to be, really, to be honest. So I'm just highly anticipating that.
Okay. I'm going to. All right.
Doctor Strange?
I know. No. I know that we said we're only going to do this episode, but I think at the end of the series, we're going to get a cameo from Magneto. And then in the last episode, I think that's going to be the Luke Skywalker moment that one Elizabeth Olsen has said in multiple interviews now. So I think that could be Magneto. I think this cameo will be probably either Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, but I feel like Spider-Man's a huge... Like, if they do a Spider-Man, then I doubt they'd like cameo. I doubt they'd do a Magneto cameo. So I think Magneto's going to show up in the last episode, and I think this one will probably be Doctor Strange or someone in that vein of a MCU character. But I don't know. It literally could be anybody, Mo. I mean, and it could be Magneto. I could be wrong. He could show up, and then they could be bringing him back, and letting them know what's going on. But I feel like Magneto is so powerful. He wouldn't need them to come tell them, hey, your daughter is experiencing this. Like, he would know already,
What if it was Nick Fury?
Who they're going to see? Ooh.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, and Nick Fury knows a lot. I like that. I like that prediction.
I think I was just thinking about it. I was like, I think it could be Nick Fury. Like that's not
That's
crazy.
not far-fetched. No.
It's more realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
No, definitely.
yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. So that's kind of our thoughts on the episode. We both really enjoyed it. Go check it out if you haven't already, which I would hope you've seen it by now. But if you haven't, another great week of the show, and looking forward to see where it goes. So.